This video is going to be a look at a very specific play, a very specific formation and play, I should say, that Ben Johnson and the Lions have utilized for a year and a half now in a certain part of the field. It's the use of a split backs formation. It is kind of historic from the standpoint of the NFL and college football, which you see on TV. It's utilized in high school football, youth football, in various places. Ben Johnson uses it inside the 5-yard line or on high leverage third or fourth downs that are 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. It's a brilliant usage of space, if you ask me, creating leverage for blockers by particular alignments of players, whether it's 11 personnel, 12 personnel, or 21. I'm going to show you instances of each of those in this video, I think. It's also an illustration that NFL teams apparently do not identify formations, or certain ones do not. It continues to work. Formations means where people line up. I tried to create a graphic that would assist you in seeing what I'm talking about, so I'll go to the initial play now so you can see what I mean by split backs. It's not a perfect iteration of it from the standpoint of the split backs coaches that run the outside veer, inside veer. I guess it started sometime in 1962, 64, somewhere around there in terms of collegiately. I guess perhaps the most famous at the high school level is John Curtis Christian High School in Louisiana. You've probably never heard of it unless you're from that area. I believe they use split backs veer for the better part of 30, 35 years, and they run 21 state titles. I think that's pretty significant. It's a devastating brand of football when you run the split backs outside veer. I have no idea if John Curtis still runs it. But in any case, Ben Johnson uses it with the Lions near the goal line. So this is the first iteration that we'll see. Jahmyr Gibbs, I think his first touchdown run against the Chargers. This particular version of it is 21 personnel. So Malcolm Rodriguez is serving as the fullback to the left of Jared Goff. You can see that he's lined up a little tight, and even as you see other examples of this play from this year and last year, the guy's not usually that tight. I'm not sure what the idea is there, but what they're typically doing is the fullback is to the left, and he's cutting the edge defender on the left-hand side. So he's getting to the outside knee, the outside leg, the outside quad, whatever you want to call it. That play side tackle is going to down block a 3 technique or a 4-eye. It's a virtually unstoppable play if you're going to line up with a 4-eye and a wide 5. And then no inside linebacker in this video that you'll see is able to get to the play because as you're cutting the edge player, down blocking the 4-eye or the 5 technique, the left guard, in this case Jackson, is pulling out to the edge. You're getting somewhat of a seal or a crack block by the receiver. In this case, it's number 80, who's often brought on to block for the Lions. You can see 73 out there. The handoff has been made. It's over. It's easy. I shouldn't say easy, but linebackers are just not able to get there at all because of the sweep nature of the play, number one. And number two, they've got to get over the top of or underneath of the crack block, pin down, whatever you want to call it. In this case, Kenneth Murray goes underneath of it. Too far to run. Bosa is on the ground. Brilliant play to use out of this formation. Ben Johnson doesn't have to reveal another play out of this formation yet because no one stopped it when they've needed him to. He may have them. I'm quite sure that he does. But to this point, no one has stopped it. Now, when regular fans like me and you begin to notice the usage of it, where it is, and then the formation, it's only one play so far. Certainly NFL teams, or some of them, are going to notice it. He uses personnel brilliantly here. This is 2022, week 1 against the Eagles, obviously. Swift is still on the team. He's the ball carrier. He's using quick players as the sweep guy. You can see there is some difference in the depth of the feet. Let's do the heels of Swift and the fullback, which in this case is Brock Wright, who's actually a tight end. You've got a 6th offensive lineman on here, and then another tight end. He hadn't been traded yet, so it's Hawkinson. So you got Jumbo 13. The sweep is to the top side, the left, again, where's it being used? Inside the 10. You can see the edge defender's been cut down. J.C. Jackson, the left guard, is pulling out. You got the pin or crack by the receiver. Same concept, same play, and it's successful. So successful, in fact, that last year the Chiefs copied it. The Chiefs used it. You got to give them credit that they used the same exact formation, same exact play against the Eagles. Tells you that Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy did their homework leading up to the Super Bowl, and they went all the way back to a Week 1 play that was used, and you'll get the end zone angle of it a couple of times here. You can see the nature of it isn't exactly a split backs where they're lined up, meaning it's not equal to both sides. And you're not getting mirror image because that guy's lined up outside shade of the guard, so in a 30 if he was a defensive player. This guy's lined up head up on the left tackle, so a 40 if he was a defensive player, but they're running backs. Or at least Pacheco is. A little bit different because they're running what we call this buck. Buck is where they're pulling both guards and not just one. The highest form of flattery is imitation, and so credit to Ben Johnson for showing the NFL a play that maybe other people have used in the last couple of years. I haven't seen it, but takes advantage of the way that teams play defenses now. The edge defender is getting cut. You're really getting a 2-for-1 in this iteration of it with the receiver forcing 57 to either go over the top or underneath. He goes underneath, pins him down, and he's got the corner with him. So it's a crack on the inside linebacker, but the corner goes with him because of the defense that they're playing in terms of coverage. Big gain by Pacheco. And I believe that is C.J. Gardner-Johnson with the tackle. All right, moving back to this year. I have talked about this in a video, to be honest with you, in the offseason or leading up to the season. So this particular usage of it that we showed you, the Chargers have really set themselves up for failure from the standpoint of you've gone goal line, which you got to do at times, I understand. But it only leaves you one inside linebacker. You don't have someone to really match Gibbs out to the edge. Normally, if you have a two inside linebacker structure, somebody's going to be on the inside shoulder of the fullback. Somebody will be on the inside shoulder of Gibbs. But you have to line your linebackers up in a way that they can't get outflanked on stuff like this with a run or pass concept to the sideline. So your linebacker alignment is often predicated not just on the gaps that are available to them, but what's the formation? What's the width of the back? And what plays do they run out of it? Well, in this case, this is the only play Ben Johnson runs out of it. And so far, it hasn't been, no one's been successful in stopping it. Later on in the game, this one's the really fun one, if you ask me, because it's 11 personnel. Actually, this is not that much later. This is the failed drive later on where they went for it on fourth down 3 times. And I think this is the last one that's successful. You say, well, this isn't split backs. I think I talked about this a little bit in the video. It is right here, the relationship between St. Brown and Brock Wright. It's 11 personnel iteration of it, so the defense isn't necessarily looking for it. Same exact blocking scheme. 80 misfires a little bit on 32, the safety, so 32 is able to climb over the top. You still kind of get a little bit of this 2-for-1 action because the corner is going with 80. 80 goes underneath. 32 is able to climb over the top. He's the guy that gets involved. But look, Bosa, again, is the guy that's getting cut. They give you the potential pitch threat out there to Gibbs to hold some defenders on the backside. I could see Ben Johnson using this in a different part of the field. I could see him using this in between the negative 45 and the positive 45 on a 3rd and 2 or something like that. It seems like he saves this for these situations down near the goal line when they really, really need it because it is borderline unstoppable at this point. End zone angle, same play. You'll see the difference in the alignment because now you've got a third running back there. Really, Gibbs is the only running back there. Brock Wright's a tight end. St. Brown is a receiver. But it shows you, I think, or illustrates the versatility of St. Brown and Brock Wright. Brock Wright's being used as a fullback here, and he's going to get to the outside leg of Bosa. The only person that I see with any type of, hey, what's going on here? What do we got called? Is 56. No one on the Chargers defense appears to be making any type of formational recognition call. And it's not like run right, run right, run right. It's whatever you've called it in your scouting report. It might be split backs. In this case, it's diamond, really. But St. Brown's alignment, again, is deeper than Brock Wright's. Very similar to the first iteration I showed you in this video where Gibbs was deeper. And look, they're not going to run the football with Brock Wright. They're not going to run the football with Malcolm Rodriguez. So it's a one-handed formation. They're only running it to their left, the defense is right, at least on this play. I'd love to see Ben Johnson reveal one more layer to this one. Maybe a boot or an option going back the other way. They don't want to risk Jahmyr Gibbs. They don't want to risk Jared Goff. If anything, they would just get the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs. But unless and until someone is able to stop this, you're probably not going to see an additional play until the playoffs, until we absolutely need something and a team has demonstrated that they'll identify formations and line up in a manner that stops that particular formation. So perhaps unusual video for some people who don't look at formations. It certainly doesn't mean that I'm smarter or the people who look at formations are smarter than those that are not. Making you aware that there are, even at the NFL level, formations that are one-play formations. Ben Johnson, a brilliant offensive coordinator, has one of them. Split backs. Later, he used it once, and so that's why I think the second iteration of it, Sunday in Week 10's win against the Chargers, added another element to it. Gibbs and St. Brown in the backfield. The Chargers didn't identify it the first time, the touchdown run by Gibbs. I think it was Gibbs' first touchdown run. And they certainly didn't know what to do on the other one that was later in the first quarter, or first half at least, where it was a 4th and 1 and St. Brown's able to get the first down. If you're interested in more stuff like this, I have other formations for the Lions and Ravens that are out there that I feel like have some tendencies or patterns, but those videos don't always do really well view-wise. They are quick for us to produce because of the database that we have. That database, if you're interested in it, you can create those search queries and filters yourself if you have access to it. It's part of my Patreon. If you're a Lions fan, it's $4.99 a month. I don't like to advertise early in videos. I like to do it at the end, and that way it's the hardcore people who kind of stuck around long enough. If you're interested in it, it's $4.99 a month. You get access to a Lions Discord and also the film database where the plays are labeled for you. And all you have to do is do filters. You can search by personnel group. You can search by formation. You can search by player name to see all 68 examples of St. Brown's targets this year or whatever. So appreciate you guys' time. Forgive the little spiel there at the end. I have been quite poor at advertising the Discord for Ravens fans and Lions fans, or the Patreon, I should say. And I feel like at times I need to do that a little bit more. So appreciate you guys' time. And if you think other Lions fans would enjoy this look at one formation, one play, predictable element of Ben Johnson's offense that's nonetheless unstoppable, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.